What's up? Raven 578 here, and welcome back to another Let's Chat. Here we are again. Last time we chat, we that was a fucking cheap ass hit right there, man. Anyway, but yeah, last time we chat, we just kind of talk about, like why I started YouTube and stuff like that, and then and then just a little bit about DBD or Dead by Daylight, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. Um, Mainly reason why is I kind of noticed that it was my most viewed videos I gotten, and usually I guess like if you want to try to make a career or something off of YouTube, usually you want to go with whatever's getting you the most views. But I don't know, man. Like I haven't played Dead by Daylight in months, like before the MMR system turned on, and yeah, like I said, I mean I used to play a whole lot of it. Um, back in the day, back when Hundreds was released and all that stuff, and then yeah, and I pretty much just stopped from there on, and then yeah, and I heard that one of my mains is getting a huge nerf, the Spirit, and I'm like, yeah, that's why I kind of just cut and run right now. And I still really have no intention of going back. I do plan on going back if they bring a few people in the game. Number one, Jack Nicholson from The Shining as the killer. The Shining is one of my favorite horror movies, so if they bring Jack Nicholson as the killer, I'll play. Number two, Slender Man. Slender Man, another one of my favorite horror characters. He just works so perfectly in the NCT's realm because his lore basically is that he stalks kids, and then I don't know if this. I mean, he also stalks adults too. Because at least in the games, that's who he's hunting. At least that's what we think, but I mean, it's never too sure. But anyways, but yeah, basically once he kidnaps people, he takes them to his world where I guess he'll feed on them, like or stalk them forever. I don't know. I haven't read the lore in many years, but yeah, basically the point is that he'd be a freaking creepy ass killer. So yeah, and then that's all the killers I can really think of that I said I would come back to the game for. Survivor wise, and yes, even though I was mostly always the killer main, I did play a lot of Survivor too, try to balance it out. And I would say that if I would come back to the game, they would have to have Sam and Dean from Supernatural. I don't know if I said this before, but yeah, Supernatural used to be like my show back in the day. Me and my mom would always watch that show every time it came on. And yeah, unfortunately, the series has ended. But hey, sometimes it's really good to end before. It gets to the point where either you run out of ideas and you're just running on fumes, or you just and then yeah, or just the show starts to just get really bad, and there were some seasons, I have to admit, that were kind of about it. I mean, not like it wasn't shit, but it was just boring. Well, there were better seasons, especially the early season. But anyways, the point is though, yeah, if they had Sam and Dean as survivors, that'd be fucking awesome. Alright, anyways, so yeah, so first of all, I want to go ahead and say that I finally played the Back 4 Blood beta, and I know I can't remember if it was the last few parts where I forgot to record my mic. Like an idiot. Yes, again, I forgot that my mic was muted. Well, I didn't even forget my mic was muted. Technically, I just didn't notice my mic was muted. And, until I started, editing, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna do it again. But, trust me, I'm gonna start, probably leaving a sticky note, making sure that before I record, everything is, like, set up properly the way it should be. Make sure I have enough space for recording my videos on the station, and then make sure the mic is obviously unmuted, because that seems to be number one thing. But then again, to be honest though, hey, here we are, part 3 of the Let's Chat. I guess I probably should have started out with this, but basically the last chat. By the way, you like that dodge? How I just dodged into my head into the guy's blade or hammer, whatever he has on, and it just totally misses. Anyways, that's how the Vikings used to trim their hair, by the way. But yeah, so I guess I should have started off with this, but yeah, basically the last chat series. Wow, she's just fucking bailing, right? She's just like, fuck this Lucy. He ain't coming with me. He's on his own. Basically the point of the series, really, it's just, you know, I don't know, it's kind of my way of connecting to my viewers. I mean, I don't know, I don't know if it's too soon. I'm saying I don't know a lot. I'm gonna try my best not to say it too much. But maybe it's too soon. I mean, my average video counts are like maybe 2, 3, or 4, which is totally fine with me. I never really meant to, like, you know, I'm not trying to go big, you know, trying to go Mr. Beast size or anything like that. Oh, that sounded weird. Um, you know, it's really just I don't know. Honestly, I don't. I guess that's just the key word to the videos. Like, I just don't know why I'm doing it, but mostly tend to make up for, you know, the lack of commentary in the last few parts and this part, but also at the same time, yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I honestly really don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Fuck it, maybe I'll find the answers, and maybe somebody will come, or maybe, like, you know, at some point, this series will kick off. But anyways, the last time, we had a Let's Chat, it was on The Last Guardian. Missed that game so much. That game was pretty fun. It was entertaining. But, yeah, here we are on Alan Wake. I think this is like part 15. Yeah, so far what I think of the game, man, it's getting scary. Or it's not getting scary. It is pretty spooky at first, but once you kind of get used to the game mechanics, it's not as horror filled anymore. Like, the atmosphere definitely changes from the beginning. I mean, just watch this right here. Like, that starts to happen a lot more, where dudes will just ambush you. And I mean, at first it's kind of like, oh my god, stuff like that, but once they start doing it frequently, it just kind of turns you off. And by frequently, I don't mean like they do it like every like 5 seconds or anything like that, thank god, but you just start to expect it, and you get really good hitting the dodge button. So, or I mean, unless you're me, then I just suck at the game anyways. But excuse me. But yeah. But overall, though, I mean, the game is good. Hopefully, we're getting to the end. Because, you know, I can't, like, this games that go on for too long. Wait, what? Oh, so that gate was just to turn on the light. Okay, she just went through it like it was nothing, and that just made me shit my pants. Anyways, yeah. So hopefully the game won't go on for too long. As you see in the next part, I guess we'll meet up with Cynthia Weaver, who I thought was the lady in black. But apparently it was that old lady that warns you about going to the hallway in the very, very beginning, and I told her to mind her own business. Now I'm glad that, you know, she didn't actually hear me say that, otherwise she probably wouldn't help me the way she will in the next part. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I got to say. I mean, the game's good. I definitely recommend it. Even especially, I think this game is supposed to be like $30 or something like that. In that case, go out and buy it. Go out and play it. It's a good game, all in all. Yeah, I mean, that's all I really got to say about it. You know, I mean, I'm not much of a reviewer. I'm not gonna be like, well, the graphics are, you know, kind of shit, but nah. I mean, this is a remaster. This game came out like, let's see, like, I want to say 10 years ago, maybe 9 years ago. It came out a while back, but this is the first time it's been on PlayStation, and it runs pretty good. And yeah, like the game is just good. Just go get it. That's all I can say. Anyways, back to what I was saying way before though. I kind of got off track. Back for Blood beta. So after playing the Battlefield 2042 beta, I got really hopeless for the games that came out this year. But let me go ahead and say something, alright? Turtle Rock Studio, they are the developers of Back 4 Blood. I only played an hour of it last night when I got home. Because, you know, obviously I get home from work, and usually I chill out for about an hour or two, and then I go to bed. Sorry, I'm clapping my hands now. But I got to finally play Back 4 Blood on the Game Pass. And I am so happy to say that what I've played so far, in the 1 hour that I've played, I am already more impressed than the beta. The beta, I don't know what it was about the beta, but it was really whack to me. I just couldn't get into the game, and it really put me to shame. I don't know, man. I was just like, beta is just obviously your first impressions of the game. That's the point, you know, to let you know what you're buying. And I'm trying to figure out what turned me off from the beta, but I think so. One thing I said about the beta is that there was a lack of enemies. You know, there wasn't enough varieties in the main. Damn, I'm gassy. In the main enemies, but in this one, I noticed that there are more variations coming out when it comes to the special infected at the same time. And what I mean by that is, so there's one zombie named the Hawker, where basically it jumps around and it spits goo at you, or you can, you know, call it something else, but no, it spits zombie goo at you, and you basically traps the character, and someone else gotta hit you out. Alright, that's cool. And then they got another one called the Stalker, not the Hawker, the Stalker. And the Stalker is basically the same zombie, but a different variation of it, where it grabs you and pulls you away from your group quietly. And yeah, and honestly, like, it mixes up the gameplay a bit, because you're not just expecting one variation of that special enemy type constantly. It changes it up a bit, and that's pretty good, I'll say. Obviously, you got the Rets, you got the Tall Boys, you know, all them stuff, all those guys coming out too. But that was just an explanation of it mixing up a bit. But I'll go ahead and say it, man. I don't know what the hell they did with the difficulty, but that game kicks your ass. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and let this cutscene play real quick.
Why isn't he inside? Oh god! Oh god!
Barry! Look out! Barry, move! Barry!
He made it inside, Wake. He's okay. The storefront's locked.
Yeah, did anyone notice that Bear ran a whole lot longer than Alan? And Alan looks to be in more shape. I'm just saying. Anyways, as I was saying though about the Back 4 Blood beta, I don't know what it was about the beta that just turned me off, but yeah, just the beta wasn't very good. Let's just say that, alright? I'll just go ahead and play it there. First impression, not a great game. But playing the game technically for free on Game Pass, I mean, it's a subscription service, so it's not free, but you get to play day one games for free-ish, whatever. First impressions of Back 4 Blood Game Pass on it, it's worth it. It's worth it. I'm actually almost considering buying the actual game on PlayStation just to you know, kind of show my support. Plus, it would be an easier way for me to record the gameplay and put it on YouTube. But at the same time, it's only been an hour, so who knows? the end could be really shit. I haven't tried the versus mode either. I'm really disappointed that the versus mode is just gonna be that survival stuff. I really don't want that, dude. I really did not want that. No, I don't think anyone wanted it. I think everyone can agree that it would have been much better, and we would all prefer if it was the campaign, just like the OG Left 4 Dead games. Excuse me, just like the OG Left 4 Dead games that were that had the campaign versus mode going on. But maybe they did it for balance reasons. Who knows? And who cares? Because one way or another, we don't have it. Anyways, so yeah, so like I said, I'm not gonna go ahead and buy it. Don't worry. Not yet. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and play it some more, and then we'll see. And I'll probably pick it up when it goes on sale, because technically I can just play it whenever I want on Game Pass. But yeah. Oh, and that's really all I got to say about the game so far. Like I said, I've only played an hour of it, so I don't really have much to say.
Following her obsessive rituals, sometimes fighting them, always giving in to them in the end. She haunted the halls of Bright Falls abandoned power plant. She marked her caches with light-sensitive paint that could only be seen by eyes that had been touched by darkness and saved by light like she'd been. She was preparing defenses and supply lines for the war she knew would come. The war between the forces of light and darkness.
Yeah. Alright, anyways, so that's pretty much the internet. That's my impressions of that. I guess I'll go ahead and talk about another thing I kind of mentioned. Why am I like staring at this page too long? Obviously, I was talking something, and well, you know, you can't hear it because the mic was muted, so it didn't really matter. But anyways, just trying to keep the entertainment value going. So I guess I will go ahead and talk about how me and my friends met. Obviously, you know, it's not often you'll see an American come, you know, or anyone from one nationality having a huge friend groups with people from another nationality. And basically, in my case, an American friends with a bunch of British dudes, and these British dudes are like I've known for years. We talk to each other every day. You know, like we're, you know, actually a whole friends group. Obviously, like I said before, I live in America, but they live in Britain. But it doesn't matter. I still come see them. Like I've saw them all one time for Spuddy 659's birthday. Wow, that really just shook my pants. Goddamn. Sorry, I just had to go change my underwear real quick. That wagon just scared the crap out of me. No, but anyway, so what was that? Oh yeah, so anyway, so basically, how did we all meet? Well, we didn't all meet together at once. You know, at all one time. It started out as a smaller group, mainly four of us. And if anyone has seen my earlier compilation videos from years ago, this is from when I was back in high school. There was DJ Bass, AJ Bush, and of course Spuddy 659, and me. Us four, we all played The Last of Us together. All the damn time. That was such a good multiplayer game. And it was good enough for me to start my YouTube channel, or make me want to start a YouTube channel based on them. But anyways, here's how we met though. It was actually The Last of Us that brought us together. But when The Last of Us multiplayer came out, and I still had Facebook, I met a couple Americans, guys, who, you know, we started playing Last of Us together, and we were all really cool together. We were having a good time, and it just turned into a thing where, like, you know, we all became friends that one day. And so after that, we decided, all right, well, you know what? Well, next time we come on, we'll all, you know, party up. We'll play again. yada yada, stuff like that, and that became a thing for a couple months. But slowly, that group started to like dissolve. You know, everyone started having their own lives and stuff like that. You know, own things to do, and then turned, and soon enough, 4 turned into 3, and then 3 turned into 2. And obviously 2 turns into 1 because I actually don't really talk to those guys anymore. Nothing bad ever happened between us. I mean, of course, you know, uh, sometimes we'll have our disagreements, but that's every friends group, you know. We won't, but we didn't like bark at each other or nothing. We didn't, you know, fight or anything to break us up. But anyway, so when it just came down to me and this one other one dude, I'll let this thing talk.
Finish the story. Again and again, the story let it get frustratingly close to the writer without letting it capture him. It was bound by the events depicted in the manuscript, but it could pursue the writer indirectly, put others on the task, and stop those who would help him. It took over everything in its path, made them its puppets, and sent them after Alan Wake.
So anyways, when it became just me and this one other person, it turns out he actually ran a Facebook group for gamers, stuff like that. Which it wasn't big or anything, but it had a pretty decent size, maybe like 30 to 40 people following and stuff like that. And it was just a group that where people can talk to each other, you know, party up and stuff like that. You know, bring gamers together and all that stuff, which was really cool. Whew, excuse me. So anyways, and so then there was this one British chick that that was asking if anyone wants to play, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I had nothing to do. I think it was spring break at the time, so I really had nothing else to do. So I said, yeah. And so then she was like, okay, we party up, and then all of a sudden, you know, after a few games, that's when her boyfriend joined, and her boyfriend happens to be Spuddy659, and this was, like I said, this was had to be like 6-7 years ago, right? God, I feel old. Anyways, so we all started playing together. We had a lot of fun and stuff like that. And then I think like a few days later, when we started playing Last of Us, we all went into a private lobby, and this private lobby was filled with Brits. And I think there was like one other American. I can't really remember, but basically it was filled with Brits. And that is where I met AJ Bush and DJ Bass. That's where we all, you know, kind of communicated, and we're like, and at the end of the private lobbies and stuff like that, we were like, you know, all right, well, if anyone's on, you know, we'll just, you know, party up. It turned out that it was me, Spuddy, AJ, and DJ Bass that were on the most. So we would always play The Last of Us together, and just the interaction between us four was so good and so dynamic that I was like, you know what, I've been thinking for the past couple weeks. I told them that I've been recording some clips and I really want to start making a YouTube video, which is kind of where the last the funny montages part 0, which is meant to be my very first montage, but I messed up as always. But I messed up at the point where I guess I wanted it to be like a prequel thing, but I probably should have just left it alone and just made it something else. Anyways, so yeah, and that's where I started my channel and stuff like that. Now, if you've watched my videos over the recent years, obviously, there is pretty much one person that doesn't really talk to us that much. I'll go ahead and let this thing go on.
No voice left to scream. Around her, the darkness was alive. It was cold and wet and malevolent and without end. She was a prisoner, trapped in the dark place. The terror would have burned her mind out, but one thing made her hang on. She could sense Alan in the dark. She could hear him. She could see the words he was writing as flickering shadows. He sensed her too. He was trying to work his way to her.
Damn, that was pretty eerie. Alright, anyways, but basically, DJ Bass doesn't play with us anymore. Now, nothing bad happens, stuff like that. But you know, I think he was the youngest of our group, and so once, you know, life started kicking, he got his job and stuff like that. You know, he started moving on. It was just cool. We all, you know, that's what happens to group. You know, life just hits us and nothing. So there you go. Life lesson, kids. Don't expect to know your friends forever. Some of them stick around, some of them don't. and sometimes it's just not their fault. You know, life hits you. Anyways, but you know, so Spuddy, AJ, and we all still talk to each other. We are all still playing and all that stuff. And this is how, and then eventually, as you can see, if you watch my recent videos, there's a new group of friends that, you know, we're all part of. And this is where I'm trying to see if Barry fucking does anything, which he doesn't, obviously. Anyways, well, one day when Absolver came out, it was like a martial arts game where you can go up to have 3 people go through a level. That's when Spuddy was like, all right, well, I have another guy who wants to play with us. That I met at work. I was like, all right, cool, bring him in. Well, you know, it'll be me, the random dude, and Spuddy. Well, turns out that random dude is, fuck me, I can't even say his name, Magnagarma, or something like that. I don't know, it sounds like I'm having a spaz attack. Anyways, well, yes, I'm sorry, yes, he's the most complicated name, he's the most complicated person in the group. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, no, but yeah, we started playing together and stuff like that. We played as Oliver, beat it and stuff like that, and that was it. I hadn't talked to this guy for another couple months. We'll just call him Scotty, because that's his real name. I don't give a fuck. Anyways, so a couple months goes by, and we ended up all playing another game. I forgot which game it was, stuff like that. But apparently Mikey's been, you know, talking to this whole other group of friends. And so we're like, well, sorry, I'm starting to lose a little bit of track here. Basically, what happened was that I started playing with Marnagama or Scotty. Like I said, we'll just call him Scotty now, because his name's fucking complicated. I can't even remember how to spell the name. One time I actually, like, trying to spell his name, I actually had to look at his profile picture on my phone, and then every time now when it comes up, I'll just like put MAG, and then thankfully his name will just appear in the auto text box. So yeah, thanks Scott. Anyways, well, me and Scott was playing a lot. Why did I pause the game there? And he was like, hey, why don't you join our Facebook group, you know, stuff like that. I'm like, alright, cool. Another Facebook group. Now, what he meant was a Facebook chat messenger group that you can put up with stuff like that. And you're like, alright, cool. And then that's when I was brought into the group. And then that's when, you know, I met Liam. Super cool dude, one of my favorites. Then, you know, Michael was there, obviously Spuddy's real name, but I just said his name, but oh well. You already know my name is Jackson. Hi. How are you? You know, Scott was there, and then, you know, we got AJ Bush is there. That's not his real name, but I mean, since I haven't slipped his name out yet, I guess I'll keep it there. Oh, and Liam's name is actually Liam, by the way. Anyways, and, you know, etc., and pretty much that's where we all ended up bonding together, all becoming friends, stuff like that. We all always, you know, come on PlayStation, play games together and all that stuff. And that's pretty much how the group started. I mean, it didn't start out just like the way it is now. We had people come and go. You know, life hits. I mean, it's normal. But it's cool, you know. Sometimes, you know, we have to sacrifice things in order to get in a better part of ourselves. I don't know. I'm not used to this, you know, goodwill poetic bullshit. But basically, that's how we all met each other and stuff like that. And yes, and we are all still talking to each other to this day. You know, jolly good fun. And yeah, and I plan on going to see them at some point in 2022. It'll be the second time I go to Britain. And so far, my review of Britain is that, honestly, a lot of people say that the food is bad. It's not that bad. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I wouldn't say it's nothing to die for. Then again, I didn't, like, really, I don't know, I can't, it's kind of hard to say. I haven't gone to Britain for years, like, about like 2 years now. But, so it's nothing to really go out and die for. As far as I can remember, but we're gonna be going to London pretty soon, and next time I go over there, and yeah. Hopefully London doesn't suck. I expect a lot of traffic and shit like that. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and let this last cutscene play out. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I mean, yeah. Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you in part 16, which will finally go back to normal. We'll finally go back to normal to our everyday, you know, playthrough or stuff like that. So yeah. Later.
I hope you know how to deal with this, Wake. I guess you New Yorkers are used to rough situations like this.
Right, the city's a war zone. King Kong, mutant alligators, and Alex Casey shoots the place up every weekend. Look, I never even carried a gun until a couple of days ago.
Well, my dad used to be a cop there. Tells some pretty wild stories.
Stuff like this?
No, just normal bad stuff. Kinda like your books, Wake. I used to tease Dad that he was just like Alex Casey.
You've read me.
Oh, sure. You're a pretty good writer. A little heavy on the metaphors, maybe.
Nobody's ever said that before.
We're coming up on the power plant. See the lit building over there? And that's the dam further up the river. I can't land here. I'll take her down the road across the river.
Just get me there, Sheriff.